Well, good afternoon, West Ham fans. Just the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. From you, dear, you know what to do. Just a couple of hours till kickoff. Don't forget it's a 5:45 kickoff. I keep saying that because people will forget. People will assume we're playing tonight, but we've already played by the time tonight comes. But as we always do a few hours before the game, we give you our predicted 11s, and usually they're totally wrong. In all honesty, but I think it's actually quite a difficult game to go through in terms of the team selection. Part of the reason is because I think it's going to be a really strong side. I think it's a stronger side than maybe we not wouldn't anticipate, but I think Freiburg put a very strong side out as well. But I think Olympiacos are a different challenge. They are a prestige European side. I think that's fair to say. Regularly appearing in the Champions League, regularly appearing in Europe, regardless of the competition, every year. And I think out of the 9 teams we've been drawn against in the 3 group stages in our 3 years of European football, I think they're probably the most high profile. We know they, very sort of renowned European side. They've beaten some big teams in Europe in their history, and I think we're not going to take this one too lightly. So, on the basis of that, let's go through the side. Now, obviously, for me, it is quite, in goal is relatively simple. We know Fabianski is in goal. Fabianski is the cup goalkeeper now. And Ariola is the league goalkeeper. Now, what was interesting, the Dave Moyes press conference was the actual blog, the live blog that was going through, there wasn't any mention of team news. And then afterwards, there was, in terms of the website, said that he was quoted as saying, Moisey, the only one who hasn't travelled is Vladi, he says of Vladimir Sufal. He was just a bit tight, so I left him at home. Aaron Cresswell, Ben Johnson, they've both travelled. Johnson's apparently a little bit further along the way than Cressy, but both are available to play if required. And obviously Maxwell Cornet's gone with them as well. So it's only Vladi's here at home, bless him. So not enjoying the 28-degree heat in Athens. So he's stuck with a gloomy London at the moment. So that being said, for me, right back, it's not Ben Johnson, it's Tilo Kehrer. Tilo Kehrer comes in at right back. Simple. Obviously, if you look at the last game when we played Freiburg in the Europa League, we had Tilo was actually playing left back, and was it left back? Was he playing left back? Yeah, he was playing left back with Sufel playing right back. I don't think we've got that issue this today. So for me, he goes in at left back, at right back. Quite simple. Now, obviously, in the press conference, Mavropanos was in the he was the player being interviewed. He comes in without a shadow of a doubt. Zuma doesn't play 2 games a week, and so Mavropanos comes in alongside Tilo Kehrer, which is a very, very dynamic those two. Very, very forward thinking. Both like to get forward as well, so that could be quite interesting. And obviously, Moyes has been mentioning how he's been leaning on Dinos for information about Olympiacos, because obviously he plays with a number of their players because they're in the Greek national side as well. Alongside him, I think Aguerd comes in. I don't think he'll risk playing with Bonner. I think now if he's more than capable of playing 2 games this week, he may choose a Bonner and go for a completely new, completely different back line. But I just think Aguerd gives you a little bit more solidity. And in fact, I think when we played Freiburg, those two had formed quite a good partnership. So for me, those two work together nicely. Left back now, obviously, last time Tilo Kehrer came in, but obviously on Sunday for the Everton game, we know that Emerson is going to be suspended for picking up 5 yellow cards, I believe. So for me, he comes in left back. And to be honest, that gives you a really nice balance. I think you've got some 2 very forward progressive, very fast fullbacks, and I think hopefully Vlad won't be too tight, and he comes back into the side for the Everton game because at the moment, I think Everton have got 4 players at the moment, so we could have that could be quite good to sort of really hammer home that sort of advantage. Midfield for me, Alvarez, shadow of doubt. He plays every game he can. If he's fit, he plays because he's brilliant. And the only slight concern is obviously the yellow cards. He's still on 4 yellow cards in the Premier League. So whether that, I think eventually he'll have to curtail that a little bit. But still, we'll see. I think currently, in terms of Vlad for the Everton game, he's about 50-50. So you could well see Tillo. It's bar Zuma, this could be the back line that you'll see, and obviously Areola in goal that you'll see maybe for the Everton game potentially. Now, in terms of the sort of the 5 ahead of him, I think it's going to be quite fluid, like they usually do. So Kudus will be in that group. Whether Kudus plays centrally, which he has been doing. He's been coming on for Thomas Souček recently, and sat in that sort of midfield role, that 10 role. And they've pushed Paqueta up front. They might do that again. I don't think from the off though. I think James Ward-Prowse is there. The reason why I think he's starting is Mavropanos, Dinos said in the press conference, he was saying, "Oh, we've got a big team now. We like taking sort of set pieces and and obviously he's key to it. And obviously you've got Mavropanos, he's 6'4", so big lad in there as well. So I think James Ward-Prowse, again, if he's fit, he plays. And same with Paqueta. I think he goes very strong. I think if we get the 3 points tonight, it'll be a harder 3 points. It'll be a good 3 points, and it'll start with some momentum going into Sunday, which we need. Particularly as we got a whole run of games. I think, including the Villa game, it was something like 7 games in 21 days. So we've got to keep momentum going. We've got to keep, we've got to get started. The Villa game was a damp squib. Let's get back on focus tonight, and then hopefully go into the Everton game. And obviously then we've got Olympiacos back at home as well as Arsenal in the next round of the Carabao Cup. So there's going to be a lot of games coming up, so we've got to keep this momentum going. And then I think Fornals comes in for his obligatory Europa League appearance. And again, this could be moved about. Fornals can drop into the middle, Paqueta can go out to the 10. You've got Kudus can drop into the middle, Fornals go right, that type of thing. And up front, I think he sticks with Bowen up front. I generally think he does. He spoke of the Freiburg game. It was good to see Bowen getting some minutes under his belt being a striker. We know that's the case, and he might change. Bowie might go to the right and Kudus might go up front. So there's going to be a lot of fluidity there. Or Bowie might drop to the right, Kudus goes into the middle, Paqueta pushes up front. So there's going to be, I think they're almost not necessarily a false 9, but it will be a fluid. I think it'll be quite fluid in terms of how that's set up. Don't see a start for Danny Ings. I don't see a start from Barmer as well. I think there's too much riding on this for me to take a risk. In not saying he's a risk, but we know Moisey sticks to his generals this type of game. I mean, Tommy Souček could come in, but unless he's gonna. But I can't see how that works because obviously Antonio won't. I don't think he'll be starting. It could all change. It could be exactly the same side in the Villa. You never know. But I think there's going to be a little bit of change, a little bit of movement. Obviously, we know some players definitely in terms of Fabianski, and we know Soufal definitely won't be playing. So let me know your thoughts. Have a look in the comments below. Put your 11s in. Ideally, I would like to, I think we've got enough here to get a result. Panathinaikos are undefeated this season. They scored 23 goals and have only conceded 3, but they have lost in the Europa League this year already. So they got a draw against. They got a 2-2 draw, and they lost 3-2 as well. So I think they lost 3-2 to Freiburg and drew 2 with Top Topola. So but for them, this is key now. They're top of the league now. They need to get some points. I think they're more likely to try and think they can get points here rather than at the London Stadium, which is obviously the return leg in a couple of weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see them coming out from the start. And we'll obviously be doing our low block, we'll contain, and then balls over the top for someone like Kudus to run onto or Bowen to run onto. I think if we come out with a draw, I think that's a good result for us. Haven't looked at the numbers. Haven't looked at the old the numbers in terms of what a win would mean, but I suppose it also is dependent on the game between Freiburg and TSB as well. In terms of will 3 points be enough for us to virtually guarantee qualification? I don't know. I haven't done the maths, but I'll hopefully have done them in time for tonight. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends. Please join us for the watch along. We'll have some prize giveaways as always and things like that. So take care and come on, you bloody Irons. Irons.